What's up, guys? Boxing Guru here, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but I told you this fight, there was a rumor going around in Mexico that they were negotiating this fight, weeks before, it hit the American, press media, and now everybody's talking about it, but I told you guys a while ago that it was a rumor, and until now, until proven otherwise, it's still a rumor. This is the same scenario as like Triple G versus Carl Froch. Obviously that fight didn't go through. It was being rumored, and Triple G's team was pursuing the fight and was hinting at that fight. Obviously now we see a backlash of a lot of fans, basically mostly Triple G fanboys against this fight. They're saying that he's willing to fight Canelo at a catchweight of 165, damn near that's super middleweight, but he wouldn't fight Triple G at 160. So I get what they're saying, I get what they're saying, but see, they're not taking things in perspective, all right? At that time, when Canelo didn't want to fight at 160, he was fighting at 155. Yeah, it's still middleweight, but it was really 1 pound over the 154 junior middleweight division. So with that being said, it's like you're asking the guy to go up, all the way to middleweight with a guy who isn't even as marketable as Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The fight in itself, it was a dangerous fight for Canelo. It still is a dangerous fight for Canelo, but it's also a dangerous fight for Triple G. I already explained this before. I'm gonna just sum it up in brief because I don't want to go into that subject. But basically, if Canelo would have fought Triple G right after he fought Cotto, taking into consideration that the Cotto and Canelo fight only did 900,000 buys, and also coupled with the fact that Cotto is a much bigger name than Triple G, and the fight, only did 900,000 K, okay? Taking that in consideration, and then stepping in with Triple G, a guy who's favored to beat you, and a guy whose name isn't as big as Miguel Cotto, and, you had to give this guy a certain percent split that, he obviously doesn't deserve because his name isn't marketable at that time. How much pay-per-view buys you think that fight would have done at that time, honestly? Let's be real here. I think it would have done anywhere from 600,000 to 700,000 buys. If you're realistic and you look at their name popularity and you look at the pay-per-view boxing how it is, not a lot of people were buying pay-per-views. Canelo versus Miguel Cotto, it was supposed to be a mega fight. That it was supposed to sell more than 1 million buys, and it only sold 900,000 buys. So, that's a thought that you guys got to think about that and take that in consideration as to why Canelo did what he did. Now, the fight's a much bigger fight. Now, I think everybody believes that this fight will sell more than 1 million buys. But anyway, it's the clear hypocrisy of these Triple G fanboys, They bash Canelo for this rumor that isn't even a done deal yet. It's just a rumor. They bash Canelo. They tell him, he don't want to fight Triple G at 160, but he's willing to go all the way up to 165. But in the same breath, they defend Triple G when his team was actually pursuing, going in public saying that they like to fight Carl Froch, a retired fighter that's been retired for almost 3 years now, and they want to fight him all the way up to 172 light heavyweight. But they wouldn't fight Andre Ward at 168. They had a fight at 164 with him, right? But they're willing to go all the way to 172. See, they don't mention that. Instead, they defend him. Instead, they say things like, but Triple G didn't want the fight. It was his team pursuing the fight. When the fuck did Canelo say, yeah, I want to fight Julio Chavez Jr. That's my next fight. I want that fight. We're going to make that fight happen. He hasn't said shit. It's his team who's supposedly, allegedly, negotiating with Chavez, allegedly. We don't know if this is true or not. So, again, it's them defending Triple G back to back on anything. But when Canelo does the same shit, it's just like, wait, hold on. No, stop that, Fuck Canelo. See, it's the clear toothpaste and hypocrisy of these fucking Triple G fanboys, these Triple G pom-pom wavers. And it's a lot of them, a lot of them have channels like Boxing Ring IQ. He's the biggest Triple G fanboy I have seen. This guy defends him every chance he gets. I mean, if you look at his track record, all right, when it was being rumored Triple G versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., because Triple G's team was pursuing that fight as well, but didn't want to fight Andre Ward at 168. Let me just throw that out there. But they want to fight Chavez Jr. at 168. See, he didn't mention that in his little video. He didn't. He failed to mention that. Instead, he kept going on and on about how it's a bad fight because Chavez Jr. He doesn't take boxing seriously. He always looks like he's a cancer patient when he makes weight. But when there was being rumored that Chavez was Triple G's team wanted to fight Chavez on 168, that it was a possible fight. This guy thought it was a good fight. This guy thought it was a good money-making fight. This guy did not complain about that fight. He did not say a single thing about that fight. He never mentioned about the Andre Ward fight not happening at 168. He failed to mention all those things. But he continued to constantly babble and bitch like a little fucking bitch about how Canelo wants to fight Chavez, a well-known megastar in Mexico, at 165. Then there's a problem. But there wasn't a problem when Triple G wanted to fight Andre Ward at 164, or when Triple G wanted to fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. at 168. There's not a problem there, right? And there's not a problem when Triple G wants to fight a retired fighter that's been retired for 2 years at 172, or maybe not even Triple G, his team. At the end of the day, if Carl Froch would have said, yeah, I'll fight him, and they would have came to terms, Triple G would have took that fight just like he took the Kell Brook fight. Quit the bullshit. Quit the fucking bullshit, man. At the end of the day, I'm not defending Canelo. I'm just a big person on fucking double standards. I just hate double standards. I hate people who are biased. I hate people who stand on a certain point with a certain fighter, but when it's another fighter, they want to bitch about it. But when Triple G does the same shit blatantly, it's cool. But when Canelo does it, there's a problem. There's a big problem with that, right? It's just a constant thing with this guy. And he's a clear fucking Triple G fanboy. He doesn't want to admit it, but it's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, you can defend this guy as much as you want. You cry about Canelo as much as you want. At the end of the day, your man, your boyfriend, your lover, your garrote, your macho, that motherfucker turned down $15 million. Oh yeah, I heard. Dan Rafael, and you can't say it's not a credible source, because Dan Rafael is known to be a Triple G worshiper. He fucking sucks Triple G's dick clean. We know this. He has him as his number one pound for pound fighter, without beating anybody. But he has him as number one pound for pound. So it's a credible source coming from that fat fuck. $15 million. When his highest payday was $5 million. But yeah, Canelo's ducking Triple G, right? But it's whatever. I mean, they can complain all they want. I mean, they can bitch all they want. They always say, why do we support Canelo? Why this? Why that? Because he's a good fighter, man. We like the way he fights. And, Canelo has given us more fights that the fans actually wanted. You got Mayweather, you got Austin Trout, Erislandy Lara, Miguel Cotto. People wanted those fights. People genuinely wanted those fights, wanted to see those fights. What fight did Triple G give us that we wanted to see, other than the David Lemieux fight? I'm waiting. Recently, he just made the Danny Jacobs fight. All right. The fight hasn't happened yet, but it's official. Why did it take, an extraordinary amount of time to make this fight? But at the end of the day, they gave him whatever Danny Jacobs wanted. He was satisfied with what they gave him. If they were willing to give him that amount of money, X amount of money, whatever they did give him, it could be $2 million or $3 million. Why didn't they give it to him right away to get the fight done when it was supposed to be done? I have a little theory. Because they were tossing other names out there like Carl Froch, as I said already. Maybe they were trying to see if they can make the Carl Froch fight an easier fight and the fight that would generate more money, you know, in the sense that they could use the Andre Ward and Kovalev fight as a promoting tool to say, oh, maybe Triple G, you know, if he feels good at 172, maybe he'll fight the winner of Andre Ward and Kovalev. You know, he'll use that as a smokescreen and to further boost the pay-per-view numbers of the Triple G and Carl Froch fight. They were trying to make that fight, man. You call it what you want, but you know, it's just weird how they gave Danny Jacobs a certain amount of money that they didn't want to give it to him at first, but finally they did. You know, if they were willing to do that, why didn't they do it to him right away? Why didn't they give it to him right away? Pause, no homo. But you know, it's whatever. They can complain all they want. I mean, at the end of the day, this fight isn't that bad. I mean, who else is he gonna fight? David Lemieux, who just came off of a horrible win, barely beating a bum. Billy Joe Saunders, again, the same story. There's no other real middleweights other than Curtis Stevens, but he just had a hand injury. We don't know how that's gonna happen. You know, and this fight's just a rumor at the end of the day. It's not a bad fight because, in a sense, we get to measure how good Canelo's chin is. Because, you know, call it how you want it, Julio Chavez Jr. does have crack. You know, potentially he hits harder than Triple G. Potentially. You know, I mean, of course, Triple G, he has more knockouts. I believe he has more knockouts. Because, you know, he's more precise. He's more precise. So, at the end of the day, this fight isn't that bad because we get to measure Canelo's chin, and we get to see how he does in the ring with somebody who's bigger than him. And, I mean, it's just a rumor, though. If you don't like the fight, calm down. It's just a rumor. Nothing's written in stone. He could fight David Lemieux. He could fight Curtis Stevens, depending on his hand injury. You know, I know he's not going to fight Billy Joe Saunders anymore because, you know, Oscar De La Coca already went out and said that they're going to cut the offer in half. You know how Billy Joe Saunders likes to bitch and moan. So we don't know if we're going to get that fight. You know, he'll probably just stay in fucking England in a cave and, you know, hold his belt hostage forever. But, whatever, I mean, I'm going to watch this fight, man, just to see what's up, just to see if he could really take a good punch. Because, you know, he's going to get hit. I mean, Canelo, he's very defensively sound, but he's not Mayweather, you know. Even Mayweather gets hit, you know, in the fight. He gets hit clean in the fight every now and then. You know, we'll get to gauge how good his power is, too. If his power affects a bigger fighter. You know, this will be a big telltale sign if Canelo can bang with Triple G. Pause. So, you know, whatever. I mean, you guys can defend Triple G. Triple G's team wanting to fight Carl Froch or wanting to fight Chavez at 168, but not fighting Andre Ward at 168 because that's too much weight, because he can't make that weight. But he's willing to go all the way up to 172 for Chavez. But it's whatever. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I'm no one to tell you guys what to defend and what to bash on. I mean, at the end of the day, I know the real. I know the truth. So it's whatever. Take the time to subscribe. I'm out.